It is 8 o'clock. Oh, it's 8:01. 8:01 on the dot. Good morning to you. I'm first warning meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week to chat about what's going on in the world of weather. Back home, back to high-speed internet, baby. Yeah, back to the regular daily grind. I got Stella hanging out right behind me. She's on patrol, making sure nobody enters into our pool cage to catch me off guard. Good morning, Stella. Thank you for your due diligence, okay? The chief security officer of the house. Anyway, I hope you're having a great start to the day. It's a little gray outside, isn't it? Let me show you one of our tower cams, okay? This is the Orlando International Airport tower cam, and it's not the most beautiful. Not the most beautiful at this time. There are starting to be some delays over at Orlando International Airport. Most flights are on time. But yes, we've got some fog around, 16 delayed flights, one cancellation. The FAA just putting out an update saying that they're delaying flights around 45 minutes or so because of that low visibility. And that trend is increasing, at least until we kind of start to pick up the visibility a little bit. So that's something I want to make sure you're aware of. But otherwise, it's a comfortable, warm start to the day. Our first warning, live Doppler radar, showing some showers and some thunder showers off the shoreline. Let me just kind of loop this for you. And you can kind of see that rain not really moving much, so that's good. Totally fine for us this morning. Temperature-wise, oh my gosh, excuse me. Don't tell the wife, but I've been waking up a little later this week when I've been out of town. Now that I'm back, I got in late last night and I was up early this morning. So coffee, such a necessary thing. All right, 73 degrees in Orlando. It is 72 degrees in the Villages, 71 in Titusville, and 77 over in Melbourne, so it's a little warm. Now, that warmth this morning will lead to warmth this afternoon, which will lead to showers and thunder showers, which will lead to some of them strong. And I remember yesterday, somebody had asked, are we going to get one of those yellow triangle things or the red triangle things? And I was like, it didn't look like it. But there you go. Upon new model data kind of chewing the fat, it does look like we have that threat for some strong to severe storms today, particularly in our western areas. So today is called a first warning impact day. You can see the time for the stronger storms, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock this afternoon into this evening. So just keep that in mind. All right. Now, when we look at that in a more graphical way, it's very clear. These are the areas highlighted that have that opportunity for strong to severe storms, mainly folks west of Orlando proper, we'll say. All right, so that's kind of what we're looking at. And again, just as I'd mentioned, in terms of the severe threats for today, it looks like it's going to mainly be severe wind gust potential and even some small hail. Tornadoes, lower threat. Not saying nothing, but there's a lower threat for that. So that's kind of where we're at today in terms of that severe threat. Now, in terms of the rain chances for today, let's just chat about that, okay? We could see some showers and storms kind of littered throughout Central Florida. Most of the coverage, though, wants to stay west of town, and that's where we're going to get that higher opportunity for strong to severe storms. All right? Chris says, but the gray areas could get rain. Exactly. The other graphic showing the severe threat, that's just kind of where we think the sea breeze collision will happen. And of course, you know, it's like two cars. As soon as they hit into each other, they'll slam in and there's going to be a little bit of lift. But there's just enough chilly air upstairs to provide for the hail and that sort of a thing. All right, so that's kind of where we're at in terms of the forecast for today. We'll go with the mostly basically overcast, foggy conditions this morning. Then looking later on, we'll see some of those high, thin clouds spreading throughout. You'll start to get the darker skies around, and you'll kind of see through the day those clouds more and more building. There you go. And that's where we'll get those showers and those thunder showers around. So it's not going to be a terrible day, but it's going to be a day where, yeah, the afternoon storms do try to get a little potent. So let's do this. Let's pop up our Futurecast and let's zero in on all the things Sound good? And then I'll take your questions, okay? All right, here we go. There's this morning. Futurecast showing a nice start, but look at how 3:30, 4 o'clock, we're already bubbling up a little bit of rainfall, particularly Orlando off to the west. Big surprise here, right? 4:30, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, starting to see some of those more vibrant colors, the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and they line up along the I-75 corridor through about 8, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then they'll start to taper off 9, 10, 11 o'clock, and by midnight tonight, they're quiet. Let's continue Futurecast, shall we? Tomorrow morning, looking nice, mix of clouds and sun, but look how 1, 2, 3 o'clock, already getting that East Coast sea breeze developing and moving across, wanting to park again in our western areas. Now, I'm not going to complain about this in the slightest. The reality is it's our western areas that so desperately need the rainfall. This is the Keach-Byram Drought Index. And notice, if you will, our East Coast spots in the dark green. I will note the dark green, or excuse me, the dark blue. That's damp. That's damp condition. The metro area, a lighter blue, so it's still kind of damp. Lake County kind of getting a little there. When you hit that yellow mark right there, that is a Keach-Byram Drought Index of 500. That's when you start to see problems. Notice beyond that's the orange. Who's in the orange? Sumter County. So when it comes to Central Florida locations, the areas we really want to see rain, is further west. So yes, today there is the threat of severe weather, and we don't love that. All right, that's why we've called today a first warning impact day for the isolated threat for strong to severe storms. 3 to 8 o'clock is kind of that timeline. All right, I'll be out picking the kids up from daycare in that window as well. I'll be here with you. We will be doing an afternoon coffee talk at 3:30 today. I'm not doing anything for the hurricane conference today. I'm back home in Orlando, so I won't be a couple of minutes late. So 3:30 we'll be together, and we'll be tracking those showers and those thunder showers. Okay? All right. Before we go on any further, questions, comments, concerns. And while we're discussing these questions, comments, and concerns, I'll pop up our 12-hour forecast just so that you've got an idea of today's weather while we're chatting. All right? Pausing from the weather stuff, and I say good morning to all of you. Debbie, good morning. David, Frankie, good morning. How are you? Rosebud says, I wouldn't call Rockledge damp. Remember, we're looking, the Keach-Byram Drought Index, by definition, is how much moisture does the soil need to be damp. So no, maybe if you're sifting through the dirt, it's not damp. But we're not talking about just the dirt. We're talking about the soil below that, right? So it all has to do with where you're at in that department. Okay, so much improvement for sure. Okay. Good morning to you, Warren. How are you? You've got your coffee pot. Look, I've got my coffee back. I've been drinking my protein shake during coffee talk, and now I'm drinking my coffee, and I'll have my protein shake just after coffee talk. Getting back to normal operating procedure. Yeah. Chris says my daughter Bethany started nursing school and wanted me to tell everyone in coffee talk she misses being able to join and looks forward to attending in 2 years. Real life hits. It's much more important, right? I have always said, we'll be here. Our little weather group will be here. You know, when the weather's quiet, we'll be here. When the weather turns to hell on wheels, we'll be here. And in 2 years, when your daughter's done and starts that career, we'll be here. Congratulations and mazel tov to you, though. All right? Good stuff. Brian, question, which sea breeze is going to be the stronger of the two causing today's storm collision and strong storms? It's not a matter of which is stronger. It's a matter of where are they colliding. The winds will favor the west coast to be pinned. So the west coast moves in a couple of miles and is just unable to keep going. Meanwhile, the east coast goes all the way across and hits. So it's not necessarily which one is stronger, but rather which one is pinned. And that's where we kind of generate where these storms are going to be today. Yeah. Debbie says, you must be happy to be home with the fam. Listen, I got home late. Everybody was asleep last night, right? Then this morning when I went to wake up Alexander, I go in the room, and the two kids, and Alexander's the morning person. Eric is not. So I go in, and Alexander, as soon as he hears the door open, he's up out of bed, and he just says, I missed you. I'll take that. And then, of course, I go to Eric, and he's like a zombie. And then, as soon as I take him to the couch, we've got a like a loft upstairs, and so in the mornings, so that they don't have to move around much, and because their bedrooms, all the bedrooms in our house are upstairs, so we watch Wesh 2. Honest to God, we watch Wesh 2 News in the mornings, and so we sit down on the couch in the loft, and I don't know, about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, I see Eric pop his head up, and he just looks at me. He doesn't say anything. He just smiles. And I said, I love you, buddy. And he just kind of smiled. Like he wasn't ready to talk, but he was happy. And I was like, my heart is full. So anyway, yes, I'm very glad, Debbie. Thank you. I'm very glad to be home with the family. I loved West Palm Beach and Palm Beach County, absolutely my second home. And if you've never been, I'll give you all places to go eat. I mean, I can't eat very much anymore, but you better believe I had a little bit of this and I had a little bit of that, and it was delicious. Oh boy. Laura says I need a coffee IV today. Yeah, I do too. I probably got 4 hours of sleep last night. Yeah. I get it though. Oh well. Carla, good morning. Oh, Dallas, good morning, good morning. How are you? John, question, why don't they use the Keach Byram Drought Index out west? Is it because the soils are always dry? Also, is West Florida always drier than other parts of Florida? When you say out west, do you mean like other parts of the country? And it's not that West Florida soil's always drier. It's just kind of the pattern that we're in right now. Yeah. Janice, your 32nd wedding anniversary. Give me advice. Tell me. Anna, good morning to you. Alexander means kind leader of men. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that, but I like that. I like that. Taylor says, my 9-year-old sleeps like the dead. I can shake her like an earthquake and zero response. Eric's a little bit better, but also, like, you could tell, Eric is not the morning person. That's for sure. Yeah. Hold on a second. I'm getting a call, and I'm expecting someone at the house, so hold on one second. Hello? Yes, it is. Good morning to you, sir. Hey, buddy. Yes. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I'm doing a little work now, so 15 minutes is about when I should be wrapping up. Very good. Looking forward to it. Thank you, sir. Bye. That is the air conditioning company. They are coming to do my pre-summer inspection so that we can make sure that, and I did switch air conditioning companies, but it's to make sure that we are good for the summer. And I highly encourage everybody to do the same thing. I have no vested interest in this company or any air conditioning companies, but as somebody who does not want to have a loss of AC during the peak of summer heating, that's a good little investment. So, yeah. Beverly, any comments on Noah's buoy upgrade for the storms? I don't know anything about it. Beverly, can you send me a link? I feel like there's just so many things going on that it's like hard to keep track of everything, and that's why I do need you. Belinda, on one of our favorites, Frigates Bar and Grill. Do you have a favorite? Okay, so I've never been to Frigates. When I was there, Frigates was either a Denny's or an IHOP, but I know what you're talking about, Belinda. What's funny is I just got my receipt, or my where is it? It's my Concur, which is the company, the expense summary. So this is just from day one of the conference, okay? So day one of the conference, we've got Palm Beach County Convention Center, Italian restaurant. It says Coconut Creek, but it was Palm Beach Gardens. That was Sal's. I love their grilled chicken salad. And then Thirsty Turtle in Juno Beach. Y'all. Thirsty Turtle in Juno Beach. Okay. Also, I brought food back. So I surprised Jeannie and came up last night. And what was best is this morning when I was brewing the coffee, she was getting ready to pack her lunch, and I was like, oh, no, no, no. I've got something. I brought her back some CR chicks. And I swear for the next 15 minutes, she's like, it's like a big sandwich. And so she took one for today and she'll have one for tomorrow. And she's just like, you could hear her giddy like a child that was told they're going to Disney for the first time. She's like, oh, I love it because CR chicks. And I offered my assistant news director to bring her some CR chicks. I offered Manalfi to bring some CR chicks. What is CR chicks? It's like Boston Market, but homemade. And it's like Boston Market, but like mom and pop style. It's so good. Oh my God. So, anyway, yes, I have my favorites. I ate it all but one favorite. I didn't get over to Nick and Johnny's. So, I'll next time. Next time. Next time. Want to buy solar. I can't stand their calls anymore. I laugh, Eduardo, because I already have solar on my house. So I always laugh at that. Annie, what's the charge? I believe it's $250 for a year, and that's 2 visits, I believe. Yeah, I believe I do one before summer and I do one before winter. And to me, it's worth it. It really is. Just to have somebody out here, it's worth it. So, yeah, I think that's what it is. I don't remember, though. Oh, gosh. Speaking of which, Pat says my AC was blowing hot last night. I have to get the repair guy out. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sharing the link here with a Facebook message to you, Beverly says, oh, it's KCRA. Interesting. Okay. Tau array buoys. Oh, in the Pacific. Okay. And it's funny, that's KCRA. That's one of my stations. Okay, so that's out in the Pacific. Got it. That's why I haven't heard of it. Got it. Yeah. Brian, have the kids gotten over what made them sick? They're just constantly sick. Yeah. Janice, I used to live in Jupiter. Me too. Chris, what was the best part about the conference? So, wow, that's a really good question. Yesterday during just after the general session, which if you haven't seen it, I tweeted it and Facebook lived it yesterday. Go to like 33, 34 minutes in. That's when Jamie Rome, who's the deputy director of the National Hurricane Center, spoke. Holy crap, what a great chat. I chatted with him afterward and put him on what you better believe, put him on Wesh too. But it was amazing. He was talking about the confidence in our forecasting and how that's gotten better. He talked about how basically the reliance of computer models and the social media rologists, the people that are fake, the people that just post models with no interpretation or data, you know, and like he and I had a really great chat about my posting of models and his, and it was like it was this whole discussion about how it's like it's okay as a meteorologist to share models as long as you're putting it in perspective, right? And that was his thing. Is it's like there are people that are not science, that never went to school, never explain and give forecast data or never put data into context. And it was just a very interesting discussion about how computer models are just not as good as forecasts. And I couldn't agree more. And so I'll tell you this much, like I will be posting computer models, but I will always put it into context. And so that's one of those things. Have I always done it as well as I could? Maybe not. But I'm taking that away as like, okay, that's a really good perspective. Like always give context. So to me, that was a big part of the conference. Yeah, really and truly, that gave me a huge benefit. Chatting with Jamie Rome was wonderful. I highly encourage you all to go back to yesterday morning at like 9:45, 9:30 or something like that. Um, I really would encourage you all to go and find that. I really, really would. Really and truly, it's that good. Good Thursday morning to you, Sharon. How are you? Brian, always with the long questions. Of all the events you have covered over the years, both weather and non-weather, what's your absolute favorite event to cover? I'm guessing the Artemis crew coverage. I mean, that was pretty cool. You know what? If I'm honest, it's all pretty flippin' cool. Like, it's all pretty great. When you never work a day in your life, you never work a day in your life. Cindy, is context possible when the GFS is drunk? I feel like that would be a challenge. I think saying the GFS is drunk is context. Speaking of which, I guess we probably should check in on it. Just give me a few seconds to get this dialed up off camera here. So while I'm dialing this up, what am I doing? I'm going to show you the raw GFS model data and just check in to see what it's sniffing. Remember, hurricane season starts June 1st. 7 out of the last 10 years, we've had preseason systems, okay? That said, our long-range forecast at WESH has indicated that there are several timelines and several areas that we should be watching. Here, I'll share the calendar with you, okay? So these are the timelines. We've got kind of, where are we on the calendar? We're at the 11th, okay? So next week, like this weekend into next week, we should be watching like the Carolinas. And then the following 2 weeks, there's like a Gulf Coast, East Coast window, but essentially around Florida, okay? So let's just take a look and see what the models are showing, all right? Context is key, and I think Jamie Room's speech was just wonderful. All right, so high pressure through this weekend and into Monday. Lowering pressure is like an old frontal boundary is coming and doing its thing. And I mean, right there's an area of low pressure like rolling off the coast of the Carolinas, right? And if you look at the time frame, like when is that? That's Wednesday, May the 17th, coastal Carolina coast storm, right? Coast Carolina storm, Carolina coast storm. There's that area of low pressure. You can see it there on the top of the screen. And I'm not seeing the comments at the moment because I'm doing my analysis stuff. So, but I'll be chatting. And Chris, I want to talk about seems like a lot of discussion I'm seeing about sharing the National Hurricane Center cone with the center track line. I'll get to that in a minute. But okay, all right. So here we go. So there's the Carolina system. Old frontal boundary, right? And then it's kind of doing this other little spinny maduha, right? Like low pressure kind of maybe in the Gulf around Thursday the 18th. That would be a little early for the Florida Gulf Coast system, but it's trying to like develop an area of low pressure and bring it back around to the Carolina coast around the 20th. 20th is still that Carolina coast storm. I will add that in that window, the reason that window is so long is because there were several little pieces of energy. So the fact that the GFS is kind of showing one and then another, that's not crazy. That's absolutely in the forecast that we issued, by the way. Notice the bottom corner that we issued March the 1st. So there's that, okay? All right, let's carry on, my wayward son. It's so funny that sometimes when I hit the button to pop up the model, it doesn't go. All right, so we're doing our thing. Sunday, Monday, and then you kind of get this like piece of energy around Florida. It doesn't really know what to do, but you can see there like Wednesday the 24th, the GFS shows like lower pressure around Florida for a couple of days, and that fits. Like the 24th, there's the Florida Gulf Coast storm system. See that blue around the Florida Gulf Coast? Yeah, there's something there. And then after that would be perhaps an indicator for the recycle of Nicole, which don't really see much out there yet. Like maybe some lowering pressure out around the Bahamas there, but not yet. So at any rate, there's our calendar. We have not and will not be updating it at all. That's just what it is. One thing that I also thought that was interesting is while out there, Phil Klotzbach, I had a quick chat with him, and he thinks that he may have to up his numbers. The average is 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. Colorado State went just a little below average. Wesh went right at or slightly above average. Phil Klotzbach said he may need to up his numbers. We do play. I did tell him I wanted to get him on Coffee Talk, and he was like, let's do it. I told him I'll get him after he gets back from West Palm Beach. I was like, do the conference. I don't want to bother you while you're at the conference. But when you get back to Colorado, I'll pop you on Coffee Talk. But I thought it was interesting that he was saying he may have to up his numbers a little bit. We use different methodology, right? But that's where we're at. So anyway, just some interesting takeaways. Looking at the beginning of hurricane season, which is right around the corner. Brian, spinny Maduha, is that a new term from the conference? I think it's just me being a meteorological moron. Is that a thing? I don't know. Tina says, so the usual rain, Florida Memorial Day weekend. So true. So true. Steven says, even with El Nino. The problem, and it makes total sense, which is why I did this in the first place. The problem is that these ocean temperatures are anomalously hot. Like record anomalously hot. You know? The Gulf, the Caribbean, the main Atlantic development region, the yellows are basically like average temps. But you notice lots of shades of orange there. And as a whole, the Atlantic basin is hotter than it has ever been in the month of May. So no surprise. I mean, did you see the imagery I shared yesterday? Let me see if I can dial this up. I may give me a few seconds to do this. Did y'all see this? Give me a few seconds. Custom. Hold on. Turn off the sweeping radar. It's going to be yesterday time. It's going to be like 8 a.m. to yesterday time, like 8 p.m. I don't know if it's got the data. I'm going to try. All right, here. Did y'all see what was going on in the Gulf of Mexico yesterday? Oh, I hit the wrong button. Sorry. Did you see this? Not a hurricane, but there was a little something doohickey. Let me loop this quicker. Like, you see that? Not a hurricane, but there was a something going on. So, you know, the reality, and again, this is yesterday, but like, what you doing over there, Gulf of Mexico? Stuart is so funny. He was like, that thing in the Gulf wasn't a part of your forecast. And I was like, Stu, that thing in the Gulf was only a thing in the Gulf. There was no hurricane or tropical storm there. So, yeah. But it does go to show you the waters want to do their thing. And I think we're going to start something. Gonna be starting something. The tropics be starting something. Want to cool down? No. Gonna start up. Yeah. Right? Like, that's what's about to happen. And yes, I do think El Nino is going to do its thing. El Nino gonna El Nino. But I think it's going to take it a minute to kind of pulse up. So, you know, how long does the Nicole recycle last for? I thought it was over by now. I mean, the Nicole recycle keeps coming and coming and coming. So the Nicole recycle is going to be the last couple of days of May into the first few days of June. Yeah. Cindy says, yes, the cute little development wanting to be one of the big kids. Like that? Like a couple little vorticity maximums? Like, no, it's not a hurricane, but, you know. Something. Debbie. Okay, Eric. What's in your mug? It's straight coffee, girl. Up. All right. They're at the door. So let me go answer the door. Let me just show you the 7-day forecast real fast while I'm going to answer the front door. Today, a reminder. I'm going to walk inside. Today, a reminder, it is a first warning impact day. 50% coverage of showers and thunder showers. 40% coverage of rain for tomorrow. A little drier this weekend as high pressure kind of builds in. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll watch those rain chances rising. Is this the start of the rainy season? It very well may be. We'll have to wait and see. All right, people. I'm going to go answer the door now. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. I will see you all for the 3:30 coffee talk. Sound good? Sound good? Be the sunshine.